According to Thornton McHenry of the New York Post, retired major leaguer Alex Rodriguez and his artist and actress superstar Jennifer Lopez are no longer interested in buying the New York Mets. It appears that talks with their potential partners fell apart, and the couple then reached their decision to opt out of this venture. The current owners of the Mets, the Wilpon family, are reluctant to sell their share in SNY, which is the network that broadcasts all the New York Mets games. And one of Rodriguez and Lopez's potential partner, billionaire Wayne Rothbaum, said that they only wanted to purchase the franchise at a discounted rate and want more control over the team that the couple was willing to offer. And I think this is a seemingly a fair story. Who in the world wants to buy the New York Mets?
Nobody wants to buy the Mets. See the Mets, see the Mets. Nobody wants to buy the Mets.
I mean, like, let's face it. Like, they're a decent franchise if they have a good roster that they put on the table in the season. But I truly think that the Wilpon family should just maintain ownership of this team. The Mets are underrated right now, but they have potential to have a good future. And unfortunately, Noah Syndergaard.
They got a great pitching staff, led by Noah Syndergaard, DeGrom, and Stroman. I mean, that's a great pitching staff. Some of their hitters are the lineup's not that bad. It's actually pretty good, but it's just like the discount that they want. Unfortunately, the Mets are always the discount team of New York. So, I mean, I wouldn't blame J-Rod for not wanting to purchase that team.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure it had a lot to do with them postponing their wedding, too. They probably wanted to have their wedding and then have the purchase announced so that they'd have this big hoopla because, A-Rod, I feel, is trying to recapture his image. He's had a lot of bad things happen in his career, and he seems to be everywhere on Shark Tank, on different shows, on doing MLB games. Like, he's really trying to resurrect his image. So
absolutely, yes.
I mean, I'm sure we'll see them be the new Beyonce and Jay-Z somewhere down there. So I'm going to get to another story. This one from Taiwan. It was on Sportsnet, most of the MLB outlets. They've decided to allow fans back to the ballparks. They've been playing actually without fans for maybe a month or something like that. But they do have relatively few cases in Taiwan. They've only got about 400 and about 6 deaths. So I mean, they've been following the measures pretty good. They were playing for a month without the fans, but they were the team Rakuten Monkeys. They were the champions of the previous season.
The Rally Monkeys?
That could be the Rakuten Rally Monkeys. They placed 40 mannequins in the stands, and they used 6 robots to bang drums. So I guess if it works with the Astros, it can work with robots. Even had cheerleaders.
There's an idea from Korea.
Apparently the cheerleaders, they had cheerleaders cheerleading for the mannequins, So I guess they're only allowing 1,000 people into the stadiums. So I think this is a very fair article because it's showing the world how you can deal with the coronavirus pandemic. But once it gets to a certain level, then that's when you can really bring people back into the ballparks. Because I mean, even the MLB should look at this and go, hey, we're getting hundreds of deaths a day. How can we can't start allowing fans within a month? You could start playing the games for maybe a month, but until we really see a low drop the way it is in Taiwan, then they can start bringing people back. But honestly, 1,000 people at a time is perfect. You can't have 50,000 people in the stadium. It'd be utterly ridiculous. So good for Taiwan. Now, this is definitely fair. What do you think?
Well, that's for sure. It seems fair that they're being very cautious about the comeback in sports and welcoming back the fans. I think just less than 1,000 people is good for now until they flatten the curve. 25% capacity in ballparks all across the world. I think it seems fair and safe at the moment. They should always practice social distancing in those ballparks, sitting apart from one another. It's the best approach right now in this pandemic, and we don't see the whole world flattening the curve. Although some are experiencing low numbers in cases, but there's still a lot of deaths happening, and it's unfortunate. And I do think that it's fair to say that it's best to stay safe, even though that you're outside. And I also heard that the stadium concessions in Korea are still closed, and the fans are not allowed to bring any food in. it seems fair. The fans would just have to eat before they come to the ballpark, and just survive 3 hours of baseball.
So
they
have to shorten the games to an hour and a half just so people can don't get thirsty or hungry.
Yeah, absolutely. By the time they get out of the ballpark, what is open for them to eat?
Hey, we're the monkeys. We got mannequins around.
Surely the rally monkeys have probably made their way to Korea.
I'll ask Mike Trout and see if he can send over a few of the rally.
Absolutely.
All right, so what do you got for us next?
From MLB.com, this is about the coronavirus. That now that we're in the topic, MLB is expected to send their return to play proposal to the Players Association within the week, in the hopes of getting the 2020 season underway. The teams have been encouraging players to begin preparing to continue spring training in mid-June for a possible return in July. If the season were to begin, there would be about roughly 80 to 100 games to be played, and the teams would have an active roster of 30 players with up to 50 available. And there's also speculation that instead of playing in Arizona for all the games and multi-hub cities, the games could be played in home stadiums so that the players can spend more time with their families. And discussions are still ongoing surrounding players' salaries and health risks should anyone contract COVID-19. It'll require Major League Baseball and the players' union approval and the go-ahead from the White House and top health officials in that process. So this seems like a fair, a proposal that MLB is trying to put in place for the PA. Once again, they're being very cautious, and they're also monitoring the CDC perhaps, and also the top health officials about the situation with COVID-19 to ensure that everything is safe and the players are being tested and the fans are okay to come back to the ballparks. And all of these things are on a cautious state right now, which is good. Once again, we have to be really safe and keep healthy. And Major League Baseball, they're not very they're not pushing this to return to play. They're being cautious about it, which is a good approach. And
yeah, it's good to hear at least they're being a little bit more thoughtful and not just creative with the way they want to bring this stuff back. I mean, I guess it's the biggest challenge. If you're going to have teams playing in their own cities and players are going to have to be traveling, they're going to have to go through the border, through the airports, that kind of thing. And I mean, as long as they've got to keep really strict measures on everybody through testing and such, if they really want to go through with this. I mean, because it would be really weird to have everybody playing in Arizona. It'd feel like you're watching a glorified practice. I don't know. It's just it's a very tough thing for MLB to deal with. Hopefully they can get a shortened season, whether it's 100 games. I'd even be fine with a 50-game season. We love baseball. We just want to see baseball. But I don't want them to put everybody at risk, especially the players. You start getting players. I mean, if you play a first week of games and 5 players or even 1 player tests positive, they got to shut the whole thing down. You can't keep going. So it's very risky for sports to come back at this time. It's a big business. I know the players are complaining about their salaries, and I don't think they should be, to be honest, when they're making millions of dollars. Even the bare minimum, they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. So they really shouldn't complain, because there's millions of people lost jobs through this, and a lot of people are struggling to pay bills. So I'm not going to ever empathize with the players in their situations. But seeing family is important. They shouldn't be all one place at the same time and not get to see the family. So that's an important thing. But yeah, you're right. Definitely a fair article, a fair story. Hopefully MLB doesn't go foul with the way they bring it. And the last article that came out was him complaining that baseball should be putting the players in the Olympics. He basically ripped MLB for keeping them out of the Olympics and calling it dumb. And honestly, I agree with him. I think it's a very fair assessment, because baseball is a dwindling game right now. I mean, fans aren't going to the games. The television ratings are bad. Just look at the few of the World Series ratings. They keep going down. They're not going up, no matter how many Game 7s they can have. But just like hockey and basketball, the Olympics really helped revive both those sports, because it put all once they allowed the pro athletes to be in it, which, I mean, Olympics is supposed to be about amateur athletics, but whatever, it's too late for that. You put all the stars on the pedestal, you put them in the world stage, and that gets attention. I mean, baseball's never been on the world stage like this. The World Baseball Classic was great, it was fun, but I mean, not everyone really cares unless you're really a baseball fan. To me, it speaks to a larger issue, and this is how baseball does not know how to market its stars. Its players, its stars. It just knows how to market the big teams: Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, Cubs. I mean, it's the same thing every single year. Like, Mike Trout is the best player in baseball. They say he might be the best player of all time. Okay, but if you go around the world and ask casual sporting fans, even non-sports fans, they probably heard of LeBron James. They might know who Sidney Crosby is. They definitely know who Tom Brady is. But if you know who Cristiano Ronaldo is, well, who's Mike Trout? No one's going to know Mike Trout. I've never seen this guy's face in any promotions when I watch American television. Like, it's mind-boggling. And that's to me, that's the biggest take I got out of this week of Bryce Harper news. That it's a very important thing that maybe MLB they have a year to try and see if they can get players into the Olympics, because they need a revival. This year is going to kill them business-wise. People, they're already forgetting about baseball, and if you want to bring it back, you got to bring it to the biggest stage, have all the best stars on there, and I'd like to hear what you think.
Well, absolutely. I do believe that the Major League Baseball players have an opportunity to participate in the Olympics just for exposure, because Japan, Dominican Republic, Australia, they're all big in baseball in the international scene, but when you incorporate like American and Canadian baseball players in the Olympics, like there's not much exposure to that. And I do think that the MLB players have an opportunity to do that, to participate in the Olympics. I mean, like, we've seen the success of the NHL players and the NBA players participating in the Olympics in the past, and Major League Baseball has it is a gold mine. To me, MLB needs the exposure to go into the Olympics. It is a gold mine. It's a different world. You get recognized in an international stage. I know that Major League Baseball is promoting games internationally, but in the Olympics, a part of the world, part of life, it's definitely a gold mine. It's an opportunity of a lifetime.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments below.